Hey, MK.
Hello. Hi, guys.
Thanks everyone for joining us. We'll probably get started a little after 7, so we're just waiting for more attendees to roll in. We're just going to give it like one more minute as there are still a bunch of people trickling in. So we'll get started very shortly. All right. Well, it's 7:03. Might as well get started. Thank you all for being here tonight virtually to learn more about TWN, or the Temple Women's Network. I'm Cassie Flanagan. I am the council chair. And in just a moment, I'm going to introduce you to the rest of the council and their roles. But tonight, we really want to just talk about what TWN is, some of the really important work we do, how we stay connected to Temple, and hopefully drive some interest in getting more involved on your end. So let's jump to it. So as I mentioned, I do go by Cassie, but my official name is Catherine. That's a secret I like to take to the grave, but here it is out in public. And then I'm joined by Adrian and Allison, who run our marketing and communications committee. Adrian's with us tonight. Allison's traveling for work, so she's not here. And then Renee and Whitney are also on, and they lead the programming committee. And we'll talk a little bit about what the committees do. And then MK is also with us, who is our historian role. So we also have committee members that help support the council. So the committees, as I mentioned, marketing and communications, and then programming. Pretty straightforward, but we have Denise and Veronica and Alex, who are part of our marketing and communication. So they do things like the social media platform post that you see, the LinkedIn platform. They also help with planning all of the events that you'll see listed on the Temple Women's Network site. So really all the things that go behind the scene to kind of get it out there. Oh, also the newsletter, the most important thing that we do. So you get that in your inbox, and that has a lot of information about Temple, about women from Temple, and then upcoming events that are going on there. And then the other group is the programming committee, which is the ones who actually plan and put on the events. So that's Christine, Julia, and Vanna. And we'll talk a little bit about our signature programming in a moment. But if you haven't attended any of those events with us, we hope that we drive some interest and we get to see you sign up. You can sign up for all of our events through the Temple website, specifically the Temple Women's Network page. So you can just type Temple Women's Network into Google and it comes up. So let's talk a little bit about TWN's mission and why we all volunteer and the whole purpose behind the organization. We really want to engage a diverse community of women to establish and maintain a beneficial relationship between Temple and our alumni, right? And the way that we do this is multiple ways. So as I talked about, we have a lot of events, but they're really behind networking events. There are some community service events, there are philanthropy events, and then there's some events that are really just fun to bring us all together. And like I said, we'll talk a little bit about those. We just had an event last month in January that was really kind of like a post-Christmas get together. We did some yoga. So I guess there's some, sporting events, let's call them, that we do together as well. And really, it's just to know that you have a connection still to Temple. And also, one thing that most people aren't aware of, you're automatically entered into TWN once you graduate. So there's nothing extra that you have to do. It's available to all women who graduate or identify as women who graduate from Temple. So we just want people to be involved and stay active and still feel committed to Temple University after they leave. So I think I am passing it on now to Renee, who's going to talk about our signature events.
Yeah. Thanks, Cassie. I'm just gonna, sorry, need this screen. I didn't memorize what we have on the slide, but we'll start off with actually what Cassie just mentioned. So our afterglow party is one of the events that we kick off our years with. So we just held that at the start of the new year. What Cassie said, we do a great yoga session for all levels, and we finish off with a really fun white elephant style gift exchange. It's usually been held in Conshohocken, and it's one of my favorite events of the year. It's very fun and a great way to start off the year with that connection with your fellow alum. And then later in the spring, another signature event that we have is our Temple Tea. This is usually held in Center City, and it's very fun. Usually, people are in fascinators and do the whole 9 yards with their great dresses and outfits. It's a really fun day, and we also see a lot of people bring their children, which is really sweet and fun to have that day with family. And it always tends to also be around the Mother's Day weekend, which is a fun way to kick that off if you're celebrating that. And it's really fun. We have activities, and it's a great sort of just connection. It's not structured networking or anything like that. It's just a very fun, lively discussion amongst your alum. And for the fall, we have a brunch, which we host at Temple's campus, because we do like to give everyone the opportunity to come back to campus, especially if you haven't been there in a while, and see all the developments that seem to happen every year. Something is going on around campus. And we usually have a panel or panelist uh, who comes to that event. We try to have it be a Temple alum so they can share their experience, what they've done in their professional work, personal life, and also how they stay connected to Temple. So those are our main events. And then also throughout the year, we have a scattering of other events. For example, in March, just next month, we have a Debunking Women's Health Myths a webinar event coming up. And we try to just also do, sorry, I'm trying to think of off the top of my head. Oh, we also have our philanthropy event. I think Cassie mentioned that a little bit. We have been going to Cradles to Crayons for the past few years, which has been really wonderful, a great organization. So we do try to keep a very active event calendar throughout the year, but these are certainly our main events that we host every year. Right.
Hi,
And
all. I'm Kay Daly. I am the historian, as Cassie mentioned, which mainly just means that I have been on the Temple Women's Network board for far too long. And I have got to see TWN evolve and evolve through the signature events that Renee just went through. Like the idea that we have been hosting some of those events for 10 plus iterations now is wild to me and something I'm so proud of. And then the thing that I'm most proud of this year is our giving focus. You may have noticed if you've visited our website recently that we now have a Temple Women's Network specific giving page. And while we don't have our own scholarship fund, as council members, we've gotten together to identify some existing funds within Temple's repertoire that we feel really passionate about and feel like aligns with Temple Women's Network's values. And so you see four funds on the screen right now. For those who might not have access to the screen, we have the Gender Sexuality Women's Study Fund, which is a scholarship fund for students studying in women's studies. We have the Wellness Resource Center Fund, which offers mental health services and violence prevention resources for current students at Temple. We have the Temple Food Bank, which is called Cherry Pantry, which just provides critical resources to students on campus that let them focus on their studies and not worry about where their next meal will come from. And then our newest fund, the Temple Women and Families Health Campus. And so that's the new clinic within Temple Health. It's the only clinic focused on women's health outcomes. And is just a really important cause. And so one of the best parts of being involved in the Temple Women Network Council is having input into how we raise funds and what we are directing our fundraising efforts towards. And so if you're thinking to yourself, I love attending the events, but maybe I don't want to be an event planner, or you're trying to figure out like an introverted way to give back, I just want to encourage you that the council has so many opportunities to really lean in and make a difference. And if you're thinking, I really want to support what Temple Women's Network is doing, but volunteering isn't necessarily for me, this is another way, just donating to one of these funds. Specifically, if you do it through our website, that helps give credit and show the Alumni Relations Network that you are engaged in Temple Women's Network, and that helps ensure that we continue to be supported.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Whitney. I am the co-programming committee chair, and I'm actually the most recent sign up. I think this past year back in 2024, and I'm just going to go over how you can be involved. So there's many ways that you can be involved that is very low maintenance, such as just joining and coming to upcoming events. I know we have the uh webinar with Dr. Butterwick coming up in March. We have the Temple Tea coming up. We also have the Cradles to Crayons, as MK and Renee talked about earlier. You could also make a gift on our website, as MK also mentioned earlier. And you can also stay in touch with us on social media, such as Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. You can find us on all those platforms. Just search up Temple Women's Network. You could also sign up with our email listserv, which is really, really good and has a lot of information, really good information about what we're doing and what's coming up and how you can basically participate in what we do. And you could also share the news and events with your network of owls, and also, people who like family and friends that you see day to day. I know for me personally, how I was able to learn about this was through my best friend who actually works at Temple. And I started coming to all of the events, and that's how I started learning about all the awesome changes and awesome events that TWN has held throughout the years. And I wanted to get involved. So yeah, definitely look into all of these. It's really wonderful.
Okay, thanks, Whitney. I will talk through some of the open council positions. So the positions that we have open are council chair, marketing communications committee chair, programming committee chair, and then historian. So Cassie's role is going up, my role is going up, I believe Renee's role is going up, and then MK's role is also going up. We talked a little bit about what these roles encompass. You can see a little bit more detail here about each of them. So our council chair is really kind of our fearless leader who is guiding us through and helping to make decisions and ensuring that we're all moving in the same direction that aligns back with our vision, our overall vision. The marketing communications committee chair, that is ensuring that all of the substance of that work is really ensuring that all of the communications that go out are centralized, that they are in line with the overall Temple branding and our branding guidance, and then deciding how we want to promote different events. And ensuring that we are targeting the right constituents and getting the right amount of reach with all of the promotions that we have through social media, and also really engaging and interacting with our constituents and trying to steer our communications to a way that is going to be meaningful and resonate with them. Programming committee chair. So our programming committee is really doing that end-to-end life cycle of events planning. They're doing the legwork in finding the right vendors and finding the right pricing and finding the right venues and really kind of tailoring and customizing, looking for topics that are going to be the most salient topics for discussion when we do our panelists or our virtual meetings for our people. So there's a lot involved there too, but I'm sure Renee would say it's very rewarding. And then historian, as MK mentioned, she has been with Temple Women's Network for a long time. Historian really serves as sort of that continuum to ensure that we have that same mission and vision throughout the different cycles of committee members and chairpersons and things like that, and shares information from all of our past events, what's worked well, what might we want to adjust or add, and what's going to be relevant topics, just given whatever's going on in our current environments, whether it's with Temple, whether it's with our local communities or other areas like that. So that gives you a little bit of a flavor of what the open council positions are like. And I think we can go to the next slide for dates. Okay, so these are the key election dates. They are open for, there's an online form that you can access between March 15th and April 15th. Our Temple alumni representative is usually overseeing and providing the oversight to the applications process between the 21st of April and the 30th of May. Little typo there. It's actually the TWN board members that interview the applicants. And thank you for updating that. June 4th, we have a slate of nominees sent out via TWN listserv for the alumni to vote. So it's not just a decision that's made by the current board members or by the Temple alumni representatives. We do push this out to our constituents again so that they have a voice in who's going to be leading the council. And then June 19th, we'll announce our new board members. And as of July 1st, that's when our volunteers will start their term. Okay.
Thanks, Adrian. So these are actually pictures from events we've hosted in the last year. If you can't tell, everyone's having a great time. Okay, it's really, really fun stuff. You can see the yoga and brunch event up on the top left. As Renee mentioned, the kind of middle picture where people are wearing dresses and fascinators is from the tea. The gift exchange is in the middle. To the far right is the fall brunch. So bottom is obviously Cradles to Crayons. It says that in the background. You don't need me to tell you about that one. So we have a really good time. We have a very engaged audience that come to the events. And the reason we wanted to have this was, one, share information about Temple Women's Network. But as Adrian mentioned, we have a lot of board openings. The group of us, the majority of us that are leaving have been with the board or the council for 4 years. And so we are really proud of the work that we have done, but really looking for some new volunteers to raise their hands and step up. So with that, we wanted to kind of open it up for Q&A, see if there was anyone on the call that was interested in asking questions. Because this is set up in a webinar style, if you do have a question, if you wouldn't mind just commenting in the chat, and then we can unmute you and you can come off, or you can pop your question in the chat and or Q&A. Totally your call. So I'll just take a minute and see if anyone has anything they'd like to ask. Oh, okay. Has the date, wow, this is great. Has the date been confirmed for the tea yet? It has. But see, now you're testing me because now I have to go to the website and look up the date because I don't recall it off the top of my head. Does any of the other council members know the date off the top of their heads? I know it's in May.
It's May 10th.
There you go. Thank you, Shauna.
Saturday, May 10th.
I'm alum from 1985. Oh, welcome. Do you think the events are for me? I will say yes. We have a wide range of women and ages that attend events. I think, you know, if you came to the tea, there are people who have been alumni of Temple. Didn't we have someone last year who was like graduated like 40 years ago or something, like really, really engaged audience at the tea. And I think that applies to all of our events. So yes, the events are for you. Come. Where can an alumni apply to the board? Oh, great question. We're going to have a link available for you to fill out a survey. So we'll pop that into the chat. And it'll also, I think we'll send it around in the newsletter email, right? We may send a separate email about just applying. Shauna, do I have that right?
Yeah, so it like technically the like open period is like March 15th to April 15th, but we will be announcing it first in the March 1st newsletter that kicks off Women's History Month. So that'll be your first opportunity. And then there'll be additional opportunities through the listserv. So if you're not signed up for our listserv, please do sign up for that. We can drop a link in the chat, as well as through our social media pages. We'll be promoting it through the TWN sites as well.
Great. The next question is, what's your best estimate of time commitment for the position? And I'm going to post this to my council peers. If someone wants to come off mute and share their experience, maybe one or two of you, I think it would be great to hear from you.
For me, I don't think it definitely does not interfere with work or any extracurricular activities. I do think that it's a very good, healthy balance between, normal life and being able to serve on this council. I would think, per month, maybe like 6 hours total. You meet with your respective I guess group. So for me, it would be the programming committee. So I usually would meet with Renee one Monday per month. And then we have all of TWN Council meeting once per month on a Wednesday. And that usually lasts maybe like 1 or 2 hours. So I would say like overall per month, maybe 4 hours. And then obviously you're going to go to the events and however long those events usually last, which is usually around, I would say maybe 4 or 5 hours. So it's really not, I would say that it's very, very doable with a job and even school, because I'm also in school too. So yeah.
I think Whitney did a really great job of summing it up. I would say the minimum commitment that you should expect to spend is 2 hours of meetings per month, one with the council and 1 hour with your committee per month. Expect to spend another 3 hours every other month on an event. But you're literally having a blast. It's not going to feel like work. And then there is work to be done between meetings, right? But that's really where the committee members come in handy. And so it just depends on how much you want to do yourself versus delegate to committee members. I will also say that from the historian position, it's a lighter lift. There is no second committee meeting. And I really get to determine how heavily I lean in and how much I volunteer for. So that's another flexibility.
Adrian, you want to add anything?
I think MK and Whitney captured most of it. The only other thing I would say is that I think you'll spend more time prior to events, and we have a little bit of less busy time during the summertime, just given that school is out of session and we don't have quite as many events. We go from our tea, which is kind of like our capstone event at the end of the year. And then our next event, I believe, is usually the homecoming event. So you've got that space for your summer break too.
Thank you. I'll also add, just for the chair position, one of the responsibilities is attending the Temple alumni meetings, as well as like a few other additional meetings during the year. So there is that little bit extra, but I will say it's very fun to go to all those events and to be exposed to the other alumni groups. So that one's a little nuanced. Okay, what opportunities exist for alumni who move away from the region? So I'll offer two things. One, we do have some virtual events that are available to anyone across the country. We also have specific alumni groups in certain cities. And I hate to keep calling on Shauna and Janine, but I know that they have exposure. So maybe we could just ask them to give a little bit about the local groups and then where to find more information about them. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely. We don't, so as of right now, TWN does not do regional events themselves. It's kind of a hard lift. We can't pay for anybody to travel to other regions to like help staff those events or be the representative down in those locations. There is potential for future growth for partnerships with the regional networks that we have and TWN. I was actually just on the Metro New York call, and we have an alumna up there who is part of organization, and she was looking to see about having the New York group promote like a community service project, but the group that she's a member of is another women's group. So I was going to bring to this council, like, do you guys want to partner and cross promote? So I think there will be opportunities in the future, but it's going to be more collaborative. We do have 6 regional networks. We have one in Greater Philadelphia, Atlanta, DMV, Metro New York, as I mentioned, and then 2 out west, one in LA and one in Northern California. And similar to the Women's Network, they host a slate of events throughout the year to engage people in their regions. It's not targeted to any one group. They're more, what come one, come all. And I will say all our events are open to everybody as well, but it's just more targeted. So they usually have holiday parties, happy hours, community service projects, networking nights. We have this Owls at the Ballpark series that we have, like if the Phillies are playing Atlanta Braves, we do a game around that. And so there's opportunities for alums to get involved, to attend those events. And then they all have boards as well. So we're recruiting volunteers for those boards. But there aren't regional TWN chapters or clubs around the country. So I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, I think it was. I also just want to call out in case, because I also see this similar question in the Q&A, and I want to make sure that we're not assuming people's questions here. So in case you're specifically asking about how can you be involved in TWN as a volunteer outside of the Philadelphia region, there are opportunities. I'm not going to lie to you. The preference for council member positions is to be in or near Philadelphia because we think it's super important that council members are at the events. That said, I have a life motto of don't say no for other people. If you are interested in a position and you think you'd be really qualified, I really encourage you to apply and let the vetting process play out and see if it might be a good fit anyway. If it's not, I still think committee member volunteering is totally doable from a remote area. A lot of the work that our committee members do leading up to events can be done virtually because it's contacting event spaces or putting together documents for the agenda or pre-meeting with speakers. Or all of our social media and communications is all done virtually. So I think there's plenty of opportunity to volunteer with TWN, even if you're not in the area. I'm just not going to lie to you and say it's going to be easy as a council member. Or as Shauna mentioned, like we unfortunately just don't have events outside of the Philly area except for virtual, but we are committed to continuing virtual events to make sure that we are extending our reach as much as is doable.
Thanks, MK. Okay, are the board meetings in person or virtual? So the council meetings are all virtual. We meet once a month on Zoom. So that's great. You don't have to travel for that. And are you required to attend all events as a council member? We do ask that all council members attend all the events that we're hosting, not only to help set up and engage with all of our alumni, but it also obviously allows you to feel very connected to the organization. That said, there have been, I think, all of us, a time in the past where we either couldn't make it, we're traveling for work, traveling personally. So we understand that there are other obligations outside of TWN. How do I sign up for the listserv? So Janine dropped a link in the chat that will take you to a page that will get you signed up to the listserv, and then you'll start getting our newsletters. I'll also just mention sometimes Gmail drops them into spam, so just be aware of that. You have to like uncheck that to happen. So if you sign up and you don't see anything for a bit, feel free to reach out to any of us or check your spam. What am I missing?
Will there be any training or transition plan from this council to the next group? Yes. So there will be some overlap. I don't remember the timeline that we showed on the screen a few moments ago, but there is some buffer period in there. And that is also why the historian role historically exists, is to provide that buffer. I'm very hopeful that one of the lovely ladies who are coming out of their positions are going to apply for the historian role. Or if you are just an alum who has been supporting us in the background, coming to our events, staying engaged that way, you'd make a great historian as well and can kind of help provide that continuity. But we are committed to that continuity, and we have, I can't believe I didn't say this first, we have the best support staff from Temple. We have Shauna and Janine, who are just the most supportive, knowledgeable humans on the planet, and always willing to go the extra mile to get our questions answered and make sure that we're feeling supported and successful. So you are not being thrown to the wolves if you volunteer here, I promise.
I think that's a really good point, MK. Shauna and Janine, who are with us, work for Temple. And I think that really helps with making us feel connected as an alumni organization, but it also really helps kind of like navigating through all the different things that happen at Temple. Like, they relay information back to us. It allows us to help plan because they're connected to all the other events that are happening. Kind of like Shauna mentioned, it allows us to cross promote events or to partner with other organizations. So I'm not sure, like, other boards that I've been a part of, sometimes you don't have that connection. And this really, I think, helps not only keep us in line, like appraised of what's going on at Temple, but it also helps us be more successful in all the events that we're planning. Someone wanted to ask what the pictures are all from, so I'm happy to talk about that. So up in the left corner where you see a group of women doing yoga, that is from our Afterglow event that we host in January. And so that's yoga, and we bring in a yoga teacher who's actually a Temple alum. Becca has been with us for the last 3 years. And so we do yoga, and then we do brunch. And then in the middle of the top of the pictures, you'll see gifts. We also do a gift exchange where we say, bring like your least favorite gift from Christmas. So it does actually lend to very funny gift exchanges because the things that people bring are so fun. The middle one where you see women dressed up in dresses, wearing fascinators, as well as the bottom left with the flowers, that is from our, I would say, big signature event, which is our Temple Tea that we do in May at the Sofitel.
Yeah,
right?
so Sofitel this past year. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I don't know what to do without the rest of the women on this call. The top right is a picture of what was the majority of our council and committee members at the fall brunch. So that's a signature event that we do on Temple's campus. So that's actually from a room on campus, which is cool because you get to go and see campus again, which some of us don't get to do on that often. And then, the one with the orange juice, probably mimosas, is also from the Afterglow. And then bottom right, also Afterglow, you can see a gift exchange. That's Renee. She is on the programming. She's one of the programming co-chairs. And then middle is Cradles to Crayons, which is the philanthropy event where we go to, it's like this big giant warehouse, and we help in a bunch of different ways. You can pack bags, you can sort toys, and it's all to help families in the Philadelphia area. So we're really passionate about that one. I think that's everything. Oh, and then I think the one in the middle was a different fall brunch where you see the women sitting at the table with the red tablecloth. I think that was also a brunch. And that one's really cool. We usually have a speaker at that one who's typically an alum from Temple to talk about, they're usually a business owner as well, to give advice and talk about what it's like to be out in the world as a successful Temple woman. Okay.
Cassie, if you're ready to move on to another question, I see one came in many times, which is super exciting because you all want to know how to volunteer for a committee. So maybe a council position isn't feeling right to you right now, but you still want to get more involved. The committee positions are like free rolling. We're always accepting volunteers for those roles. We might not always have immediate work for you to do, so we really appreciate patience. We try to get back to inquiries within a reasonable time frame. You can usually expect to hear from us within a week or so, but we might not have any tasks for you to do right away. That said, to express interest in one or both of the committees, you can email Janine. I will provide her email in the chat, but you probably also got an email from her from this event. And thank you, Janine. So go ahead and send Janine a message letting her know which committee you're interested in, and she'll get you in touch with the existing council members over that committee who will set up an introduction to see how we can plug you in.
We also have some questions in the Q&A box as well. If we want to move over there.
Yeah, I
Oh.
see one. It says, is it often that the marketing, comm, or programming chair leaders move up to the committee chair? Maybe the historian may have a little bit more information about that. That's actually a really good question.
Yeah, so we haven't seen it in this iteration of the council yet. I am hopeful we might this time around. But when Cassie came into the council chair role, there was no previous council. There was a lapse between boards. So Cassie stepped into that role just I don't want to say out of nowhere. She was definitely not out of nowhere, but did not hold a previous board position. But I think that the goal is certainly to use the council chair positions or the committee chair positions as an incubator for council chair. So if that's something that you aspire to but can't commit to right now, or just want to get hands-on experience doing programming or marketing, then it's still well within reach.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, Whitney. I was also going to say, well, that would be wonderful. And if you are interested in joining a committee to see how you like being involved that way, and then use it as perhaps like a step stool to move into a council position, we love that. But if you're also interested in kind of diving right in, don't allow the fact that you weren't on a committee to dissuade you from applying, because we do have a lot of openings, which I think may be unusual. Given the situation. So there's definitely a lot of opportunity if you're interested. All right, what else am I missing?
We have some questions in the Q&A portion. If you want to click into there, I did answer one already via text, but just in case folks can't see the Q&A, someone asked if there are age limits for board positions. No, the only requirement as far as age is that you've graduated. So no current students, unfortunately. Current students make great committee volunteers, committee members, and we'll use that as an incubator to future positions as an alum, but no age requirements.
I also think I saw someone say that when they saw all of our graduation years, they were shocked. I think maybe coincidence. I will say one of the things we've talked about as a council is really looking for diversity across the board in who we're recruiting. So don't let this group of women dissuade you either way. I think there's opportunities for people who graduated before and after or at the same time as us. So please don't let this council be any idea of we're looking for a specific age. We really want to kind of build it out more and expand the group that we have. List the committee names again. Yes, we have the Actually, Janine, do you want to go back to that slide? Yeah, we can go with the board one. So I just thought it might be helpful for you to see all the council positions that make up the council. So the two committees are the Marketing and Communications Committee and then the Programming Committee. And so each committee has two co-chairs and then the committee members that support them. So and each of those, each committee co-chair role, there's one open for each of them. What else am
I also see a question. Do you also usually have any events for Black History Month? I know for me, I would like to start planning more events in the future. Once we have, more permanent members, because we have a lot of people who are rolling off. So there wasn't really enough time to really do it this time. But I think, once we get everybody kind of firmed up in their position and they're trained, I personally, as one of the co-chair and the programming committee, I would like to personally start doing at least one event for Black History Month starting in the new cycle. So.
And
I will
that
also.
is
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
So I was just gonna say that's the beauty of being an engaged alum, whether that's a volunteer on the committee, holding a council position, or just being engaged in events like this and feedback sessions and answering surveys. The more interest we know there is in a particular type of event, the more likely we are going to be able to devote the resources to executing it. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, and I just did want to mention, Natasha, that there's also the Temple University Black Alumni Alliance, TUBA. And they are, if you're looking for something for this month, they are doing a community service event in honor of Black History Month, where they're doing a blood drive in partnership with Temple Health. And so they're trying to get donors to give blood, specifically Black donors, because they're trying to help fight sickle cell disease. So that is happening on February 26th. There's the drive itself is from 9 to 6, and so people can sign up to give blood at any point during that time. And they're also looking for volunteers to help work the blood drive. So work at the check-in desk to check people in and get them situated. So that is happening this month from the Black Alumni Alliance. So I can share information in the chat as soon as I stop talking about that if anybody's interested. And then going forward, it's something that we could look into doing. Also, if you received the TUBA newsletter, which should go to everybody who's coded as being a Black alum, their newsletter went out on February 1st, and there was a link in there to all of the Black History Month events that are happening on campus. So I will also try to grab that and put that in the chat link so that you can see what's going on throughout Temple as well. Okay.
Okay. Oh, I can answer another one in the Q&A. Thanks for cleaning that up, MK. Just gotta know where I am. So we did talk about this at the beginning, but I think it's good to reiterate. So anyone who graduates from Temple is automatically put into the Temple Women's Network. However, you might not be getting our emails from our newsletter. So there is a link in the chat to sign up for the listserv so you start getting all of the information. So everyone who graduates, gets to be a part of Temple Women's Network. But to get I think the best thing to get is the newsletter, because it gives you information as well as the listing of all the upcoming events. And specifically, if you're not in the Philadelphia area, the opportunity to join virtually is there. Okay. I feel like I don't know how to answer the question about the resumes. Does anyone want to hop on and answer that one?
I will say you can check off all of the opportunities that you're interested in. So if you're interested in the chair and the programming committee, or all three, all four, you can check that off when you're filling out the application. And we will be doing interviews. So I think I need to go back to the application. I can't remember if I think there's a spot for you to put your resume or your LinkedIn link, your LinkedIn page link. So there will be opportunities during the interview process to talk more about like your interests and you maybe rank them. But there is the opportunity to check off one or more of the opportunities that you're potentially interested in.
Trying to tell my husband to be quiet. It's not working. So I'm sorry if you guys hear that in the background. Okay, how many members are there for TWN, and how many on average attend events, are signed up for the listserv and newsletter? So here's what I'll answer. Each event has a different number of potential attendees. So when we think about something like the Afterglow event, the one we just had in January, typically we have about 50 spots. I will say one of the things we are very proud of as an organization is how we've been selling out of a lot of our events. There's been a lot of interest over the last year. So that one's about 50. The T is a little bit more. It's anywhere from 100 to 150 based on the size of the venue. Something like Cradles to Crayons could be, it's usually a smaller group because they only have a certain amount of spots for us. So that's usually like 10 to 20. So it really varies. I will say, you know, the signature events like the brunch and the tea tend to be the largest in terms of attendees that we can accommodate. The number of members in TWN, I don't know the answer to that. So I'm hoping Shauna can help me with that one.
Yeah, so technically, like every alumni is a member of TWN. So I feel like it's like 190,000 alumni are part of TWN. So that's all over the world. Obviously, in the greater Philadelphia area, the numbers are much smaller, but we still have like 160,000 alumni who live in the greater Philadelphia area. But yeah, the numbers are quite large. Any female or female identifying alum is automatically a member. So it's quite large. And then the listserv, we have about 2,200 who have opted in to the listserv. So definitely hoping to grow that number and build awareness about that, because that is one of like the first ways we try to promote any of our events, because people have opted in to get, you know, more information about TWN. And sorry, I'm going to be putting the Black History Month events in the chat now, that link. I don't want it to all get lost.
I see a really good one in the webinar chat that says, do you have to be on a committee to suggest new annual events and volunteer to help plan?
So here's what I'll say. Did you want to answer that, Whitney? I didn't want to.
I was just gonna say, I don't think you have to be on one. I think you can, there is a feedback form, usually after events, where, you know, you can suggest new things or suggest how things could have went at an event, or even suggest another event. So you can do that. And I think there's also another way, if you want to explain that, Cass.
Absolutely. So there is a feedback form after every event, but you get the feedback form only if you attended. I will say we, you know, are very engaged on social. We welcome comments in there. We welcome, you know, reaching out when you get the newsletter. I think we are very open to all types of feedback, because this really is for alumna of Temple University. So we want it to be something that people are excited about and come to. So we very much welcome that. I will say, you know, most of the decisions on planning of the events happens if you are a part of the council or a part of the committee. So being involved, I think, is the best way to get your voice heard. But like I said, we welcome all feedback, because we've been doing this for 4 years. So I think there's a lot of opportunity to continue to build it, to make it something that is useful for the alumni of Temple University.
I will just add, sorry to that, oh shoot, I lost my train of thought. Oh, we try to plan like at least 6 months to a year ahead. Just the events calendar at Temple University in general is very busy, and we try to like reserve some of these dates. So any kind of suggestions, we welcome them 100%. But it's not like a fast moving ship to switch things or to add it to the rotation, just because we do start planning. We try to plan ahead as much as possible, and sometimes it's as much as a year out.
Yeah, and echoing that, and also maybe just saying it more bluntly because Sean is being so polite. It can feel like if you're not in the meetings that like your feedback went into a black hole and no one listened to it, and it's really discouraging. And I know that firsthand because that's how I felt before I was a council member. And so I want to first stop and acknowledge that feeling because it stinks. And we don't want that to be your feeling. And apologies if you've ever been made to feel that way. As Shauna mentioned, the reason for that is kind of twofold. Number one, it is that lead time. We're typically planning our year in July for a full 12 months in advance. And the second part is the council is 5 people. Our calendar is more than 5 events. As we've discussed a few times now, the expectation is that council members are at most, if not all, of the events. Coordinating calendars between 5 people is tricky enough. Now imagine trying to coordinate openings with between Temple's other events, because we try not to conflict with what other councils are doing or what the Temple Athletics has or anything like that. So that puts a big damper on how many events you can do, and then just bandwidth. Any new event really comes with a discussion of what should we cut so that we can prioritize it financially and with our time. And so I just want to, again, acknowledge that it might feel like I have all of these great ideas for events and you never put them on. And that does stink. We, even as a council, I think each probably have 5 event ideas that we'd personally like to champion. But when it really comes down to it, the hard decisions don't often make it possible to have those events. I wish we could do a philanthropy event every quarter. It's not feasible. So I say that to not discourage anyone and to just say, like, please keep sending that feedback, because the more feedback we have, the easier it is to justify prioritizing that event. But also please be patient with us and the next iteration of council, and knowing that it's not an overnight fix.
Okay, with time, will the overall board grow and introduce different chair positions? I think this is a great question. We've definitely talked about expanding it over the last 4 years or changing it to meet the needs. I will say we got to a point where we felt like we really were well sized to support the work and the events that we were planning. I think all of that to say, there's obviously a lot of new talent that we're hoping to recruit into the council, and it would be a discussion with the new council to have if they feel like they would like to do that. I think that's what's really nice about TWN, and the support that we have from Temple through Shauna and Janine is like we really have the autonomy to determine what is the right thing to do for our alumna. So all of that to say, I don't know what the future holds, but the option is definitely there. Okay, did I miss anything? There
is one question. It said, if you become, hold on, I just had to go. If you become a committee member and you usually attend one of your events like the Tea, do you still need to purchase your ticket? And are you still allowed to invite guests to come with you? I know they would most likely pay.
Thank you, Whitney.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to answer that one?
I just answered in the chat as Whitney was reading the question. I'm so sorry, Whitney. I didn't realize we were going to cover it live. So just for everyone's edification, council and committee members do still register like normal. So if it's a paid event, we do pay for our tickets. For me, the rationale behind that is that we're never going to ask you as a member to pay for something that we wouldn't be willing to pay for. We believe strongly in all of the events and the purposes behind the events. We believe that they're well worth the value. And often discuss how we can't believe that we can do it for as cheap as we do it. And so you should not expect that by becoming a volunteer in a committee or council member that you'll not register for events.
And they're very well worth it. They're all wonderful events. I've been to them pretty much for the past, I want to say 3 years. And every single one that I've been, I've always had a blast. So it's definitely well worth it to pay, whether you're on a committee or not.
And I think, Whitney, that's such a good point. Whitney, as she mentioned, is one of the newest council members. And the way that we all met her was because she was someone who was regularly attending events and raised her hand to say she wanted to be more involved. And so, thank you all for joining us. Like we talked about, your participation could be as small as attending events, or it could build into something like being a council position. Most of us actually joined, if you think 4 years ago, it was during COVID. So there wasn't a lot of events. As MK mentioned, there was kind of a lag in the board. So some of us were very brand new to this. I think there's now so much opportunity for you to be as involved as you want to be. And whether that's one event, whether it's donating, or whether it's stepping up and taking on a council position, there's really a lot of ways to stay involved with Temple.
Yeah, I just want to add on there. We realize that event attendance is not available to everyone, right? Between our Philly area focus and time zones, even for our virtual events. So understand if you can't make it to events. You can support us in other ways, follow us on social media, share our posts, share your experiences with Temple Women's Network. We love to hear from you. Please be communicative with us or about us. And there are plenty of ways to stay engaged even outside of events. And I think all of us are open to being contacted if you want to talk more about how you can do that strategically.
I just wanted to add to that, MK, that very well said by everybody, but there are also, this isn't a formal process yet, but one-off opportunities. If you want to, we table at homecoming at Tailgate Village. If you want to help stand or staff that table, we welcome those one-off opportunities because it is a very small council. There's only 6 people. Some of these things, happen when people are traveling or during the workday. We have something called Grad Fest. It's a celebration for our seniors, where that happens during the day, where we're tabling. So there are other opportunities for if you don't have the commitment level at this time to do a committee or join the council. There are these one-off opportunities that we can add you to a list. So if that's something that interests you, when you get the post-event email from Janine, just respond to her saying, this is something that I'm also looking to look into because it's not going to be on the application. But that's just another way. Again, it's event centric, but it could be very, very helpful since this is a small but mighty group, and we are trying to do a lot and get a lot of awareness out there in different places around campus.
So we are an hour in, and I think that is all we had planned for today. Something I'm going to offer on the fly is if you get the follow-up survey from Janine about this event, and you are interested in talking to any of us about, our specific role, just write back to her and she can give you our contact information so that you can I'd be happy to set up a call with anyone or talk to you via email about the expectations of being the chair. And I know I can speak to the rest of the council to say the same thing because sometimes you don't know what it entails until you have that conversation with someone. So that option is obviously there for you if you're really just interested in learning more. So just reply to the email that you get tomorrow. So thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited to have so many of you, and we hope that means that we're going to have so many applications for our council positions or maybe some new committee members. So thank you all so much and have a great night.
Great work, team. Love it.
I think that was good.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're still signing off, but all right, I'm not going to hold you guys. Thank you. I just wanted to say you all did a really good job.
Thank you guys for
Good
setting
question.
this up. We really needed to reach out to our member base in a forum like this, and so I'm so excited that it was so well attended. And I am gonna get out of here, but have a great night, everyone. So glad we did this.
You too.
Have a good night, everyone.
Yeah, I
Bye.
can
Good
see
night.
you guys are a great group to work with. So thank you.
Thanks, Sinead, and thanks for making the PowerPoint.
Thank you. Sorry about the tuba thing. I thought I got all the tuba.
I know.
Hey, it's okay. You know
I
what?
didn't
We
catch it
got
either.
there. Yeah. All right. Bye.
Bye, guys.
And Whitney, I didn't forget. I'm gonna connect you with Marilyn through tuba. So I didn't forget about you.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you. See ya.
Okay. Have a good night.